everyone watching a Happy New Year?
I think we should. Happy New Year, everybody who's watching. We are live with Chaos Theory on 1/1/2021. Fuck 2020, we are done with that shit.
Everything magically disappears.
And the world is all perfect again.
My beard looks so much more different in the stream, I just realized, because I shaved down the point for the holidays.
2021 is the year we're all going to figure out how to harness the Mandela effect and jump to a better timeline.
I feel like I've already done that a couple of times subconsciously.
Oh, I know I have. Berenstein, not Berenstain.
Berenstein.
Pronounce it Steen.
Anyway. Welcome back to the campaign, everybody. I know we're a little bit late, but Scout had his game and I didn't want to rush him. Point of order, Melvin, aka Styx, is not here. He's just not feeling it today, and we didn't want to push him on it, so we're going to let him sit this one out. And I can work around it, no problem. I can FBC him around for this.
Are any of us actually from the Berenstain universe?
That just sounds wrong.
It really does.
I've met a couple of people who are.
Anyway, without trying to get too much off track, because we're already strapped for time. The last few times we have been focusing in on the party that went, the majority of the party that went south to east. Yes, southeast or southwest to get Rowan his papers. So everybody really except for Ricky. Which is why we're going to kind of flash back in time a little bit to look at some stuff that Ricky's been doing. While the party's been gone, Ricky decided to stay back and work with the druids on a couple of home projects, as well as working with Esther in the warehouse on the mech suit program that they are strapped for time to do. Ricky, you don't know the information that the rest of the party has, that the invasion is 2 days out. From what the sources you've heard, it's at least a week or more away still. So you're not as strapped for time mentally, but you're still able to get a lot of the mechanisms working a lot better and to make it a lot more combat and effective. The last you saw, Esther was fitting a Rhino type of firearm to one of the arms and giving you some much needed time off, because after all the work in this single day, you have 2 points of exhaustion. And it is up to you what you really want to do, but you know for a fact that currently your charge, Elena, is at a function in the Citadel for the council members, their extended family, and certain other city representatives, mainly just to discuss things about the war effort in the city politics. Normally, they would bring their mage guards, but Elena saw you were working and needed in the project for the mech suits, and she agreed to give you more time to work on that stuff and personal stuff, considering there's so many other mage guards in the Citadel and the normal guards there that she felt she would be fine without you for the day. At this point, you have everything that you have wanted to do, and it's actually getting to the point where the sun is starting to dip below the horizon. So you're actually a bit forward in time from where the rest of the party is right now.
Look out the window. Why is everything on fire?
But it's up to you where you want to go. If you want to head back to the inn, and rest away all of that exhaustion, or do anything else you want to do, it's up to you. I thought we'd jump over to see what's happening with you, just because it's been a while since we've heard from Ricky.
Yeah, I think Ricky would go back to the inn, dropping off 2 packages, one for Albrich and one for Talsum, at the front desk. And then he'd go pass out. He needs them spell slots back.
Alright. So, Ricky, seems like you're just going to take a long rest, and if that's alright with you, we can jump back to the rest of the group then.
Go for it.
Alrighty then. So, for the rest of you guys, you are just entering out of, I should say, exiting out of the culvert that you entered in to get to the sewers where we were in the last stream. As you exit, you notice that it's still a big pile of trash around you guys, and it's still kind of in a back, not like a full back alley, but just sort of like an unused part of the street right next to the wall. You don't see anybody there, especially as you look around, unless you guys want to specifically do perception checks, in which you're afraid to do. You don't see the little girl who brought you down there, even in the alley where you originally saw her.
I think I would try to find it.
Oh.
Stupid kids. Amazing.
We are very inattentive.
You guys are all kind of a little bit distracted. Partially because you hear a little bit of commotion from another part of the city. This isn't something that you need to roll another perception check to hear. It's very obvious that something else is going on. And it's kind of going off in the direction of the main road. If you guys are still looking at the same map as me, it's going on this main road kind of where it goes into the gate. You guys are kind of off right down here. And it would take you like 10-15 minutes of running to get to where that is coming from. Oh yes, Albrich is still injured from the mimic. I forgot about that.
Do we know that happened? Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
killed us, yeah.
No, yeah, you guys had the conversation of Jace being incredibly annoyed that you killed his pet.
You didn't kill Jerry, did you?
Wait, I thought. Oh boy. Okay, I got turned around on the map. I thought that the human district was further up to the north, but it's not. It's down over here.
Yep. And you
Okay.
guys were brought over to this area right here, kind of near the wall.
Yeah.
And are hearing
yeah.
stuff from up here.
Okay.
I feel like 10 minutes to get there by running is a bit much.
Well,
You can move 30 feet in 6 seconds.
yeah. It's a big area of the city, too. It's kind of hard to overestimate. It's not...
Okay, so I assume what we're hearing is like parade levels of noise.
Almost. Which is why it distracted you guys from looking around, because you guys started looking around and then started hearing that noise.
Is that in the direction of where the
Human representative.
the representative guy was?
It is.
I'm gonna just, oh no, and start kind of rushing ahead.
Alright. I assume the rest of you guys follow. Styx is going to be running after Rowan just to make sure he's not running off on his own.
Yeah, I guess we probably ought to check that out.
Alright.
That's fine, I could use a distraction.
Like I said, it takes a few minutes, maybe not 10, but a few minutes for you guys to get over there to the source of the sound, and it feels like it's constantly getting closer and closer to the city, as if it's kind of going this way on the road across the bridge. And when you guys reach the main thoroughway where the representative's house was, and where you guys kind of came out in the gate onto when you originally came to this area, you see that there is a good amount of the civilians in the area that you don't necessarily recognize, because you've only been here for less than a full day, but you can kind of tell like these are the normal people who live around here, obviously, and they're all kind of like looking on the street like, what the heck's going on type stuff. And as you look down the street, give me yet another perception check, because it's not quite in view yet.
Oh,
I
come
love
on!
my +0 perceptions. Oh damn.
That's pretty good.
Rowan, there's some random guy who's like constantly getting in your way, trying to see stuff on his own, so you can't really see past him.
Excuse me!
Rowan's like well over 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's
It's a Goliath.
yeah,
That's the
there's,
only way.
there's just some guy standing on the top of a crate to get a better view, but he's standing right in front of Rowan.
I feel the rage.
Albrich and Talsum, you guys both see that this is not a parade unless people hold parades for wounded soldiers, because that's what's coming down the main throwaway.
Ah yes, real heroes. Oh,
Human or not human?
Mostly non-human. You can see a spattering of them, and from the markings on their armor, you can clearly tell that these are city soldiers.
Okay.
The same military who works for the city you guys are in right now.
I'm just gonna kind of tap on the shoulder of the guy in front of me. What's going on? I can't see.
The gentleman who's not, elderly, but, older or human gentleman, slightly shorter than you, which is kind of why he stood on the box, because everybody's kind of same height, human-wise, around here. He just kind of turns around. Well, it looks like that force they sent out the other day is come back. They took a beating from the looks of it, too.
The army, the siege army that we're expecting, though, is not coming from that direction, right? It's coming from more due south or southwest.
Yeah, from what you guys have heard, they're expected to come along the North Pearl Road, which is the road you guys took, which is this road down here.
Okay.
These guys are actually coming from across the bridge. So they're coming from this road all the way down to here and then heading back towards the city.
Yeah. Well, that seems strange. Why were they fighting over there?
Where are the raiders from? Maybe they're that way.
At this point, the quote unquote parade of army soldiers is getting close enough to where you guys can clearly see them. It's not a large force, probably like maybe a couple hundred people, and from what you can see, a large portion of them are injured because a lot of them are on wagon carts and such, getting pulled along. In fact, there's one that's like almost a good mile ahead of the rest of them that is going super fast and is getting to the point where you can kind of hear something from the guy who's who is like reaming these horses to get the thing going.
So there's a wagon that's ahead of everyone else? Is that what you said?
Yep. There's a bunch of wagons carrying wounded people, but there's one wagon that's
Right.
ahead of all the others that's going incredibly fast. And it looks like the horses have just been like whipped into the bone to get them to the city.
Well, that looks dangerous. I'm sure someone's going to get run over. I'm staying out of the way.
Most of the
Are there
civilians.
I'm only the size of a speed bump.
Well, this probably doesn't concern us. We should probably get to the representative as soon as we can. We need to get him down there.
are there any guards, like city guards, just like watching the parade? That parade in quotes.
They're not necessarily watching the parade. They're most sort of trying to get the one or two ignorant civilians who don't realize what's going on off of the street.
Yeah. Can Telsum go to one of them?
Yeah, there's a handful of them near you guys trying to keep people from going into the road.
Yeah. Telsum's just gonna ask, "Hey, any idea where these soldiers came from?"
I don't know, I'm not on to everything, but I was told that we sent out a few harassment squads to keep the enemy from establishing a bridgehead further up the river. This is the first we've heard back from them, so judging from the fact that they came from this side and they were sent on the other, I'm not sure.
Well, hopefully they gave as good as they got.
Hopefully they did. If you wouldn't mind stepping a few feet back, it looks like we have some important casualties on the way. And at this point, the cart has gotten to your guys' place, and the guy who's driving this thing, he looks like he's just haggard and like half awake at this point. He doesn't look injured. He just looks like he's been riding this thing night and day, and has not had a break. And he's just screaming almost hoarsely at this point, "Everyone out of the way! We have the general in the back! He's wounded! Out of the way!"
Is that the one going really fast?
Yep.
Telsum sure can't help it anyway, so he's gonna let him pass. Do we get a look at them?
It is a closed wagon. Think like Oregon Trail with the back kind of closed.
Mhm.
And
Dysentery?
the only indication you guys have that there is an injured person in the back is that one of the walls is like soaked in blood.
Oh.
And you can see just from the shadows going through, because this is getting into mid to late day now, kind of like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that there is at least like 2 or 3 people in there. You're not sure what exactly is going on inside.
Even though I know he's not here, I'm just gonna say that Rowan taps Sticks on the shoulder, just like, think you can do something to help out?
I mean, it's Stickspot.
Stickspot.exe, he thinks that he shouldn't really interrupt. They probably have their own medicines, but he can offer it to them when they talk to the district rep.
At this
Well,
point, he
I
can
think
maybe cure a boo-boo.
Stickspot has used most of his key points.
Yeah, he can't do much right now, but probably later if they need the help.
Well,
Can he
Go
cure
on,
with
man.
key?
Yeah, that's the type of
That's
monkey he
the
is.
only way he cures.
he's a cleric.
Yeah, he's a cleric, so he has like a couple healing spells now too, I think.
Doesn't he only have 1 level in cleric?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not that effective a healer with magic.
no.
Was the district representative where we were going? Is that still across the road, or is it back behind us now from where we're standing?
So you guys are looking kind of diagonally across the road, and you can kind of see his office, but it's between you and him is the parade. Which at this point, now that that one wagon has passed you guys and has been let through the doors to the city, the rest of the parade is showing up, and you can see that this is, it's the same eclectic mix of races that you've seen for the military personnel in here as well. There's some humans every now and then, and in the military, because they aren't going to like push humans out of the military just because other humans are the enemy, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of them are very badly injured. Like, you can see some people who are not, clearly not awake yet, even though they must have been like a good day's ride to get here. There's people missing limbs. There's people who have big head bandage wounds on them. And down the way, you can see a handful of much slower carts that have much more mournful-looking riders that are going just slower.
Telsum is trying not to show any emotion, but he feels, more than anything, he just feels angry in general seeing this.
Well, I doubt we can do much to help, especially considering we can't really get to them. They're cordoning off everything, and they probably have all the specialists getting ready to take care of the men. I say we just get ready to get my visa.
Yeah, we already have a job.
City otherwise.
I mean,
Did
I know we can't do anything, just upset it happened in the first place. All of this.
But within the next 2 days, we might be able to do something about it.
Did Jace come up out of the
No.
underground with us?
You guys were sent.
okay.
You guys were sent up, and his
Okay.
and the
okay.
one monk kid who was sort of like his second in command just kind of left you guys at the entranceway and then went back in.
All right.
Do we did we leave immediately, or like
You were escorted out like immediately after
Yeah.
the tour. Yeah.
So I wouldn't get a short rest.
No, not yet. But at this point, the wounded have gotten their way into the city. The tired but non-wounded soldiers are kind of walking through, and you can kind of see that the cordon around the quote-unquote parade kind of gets a lot more lax once the wounded are through, and people start approaching the non-wounded soldiers, asking questions like crazy. And the guardsmen who are there are pulling the especially annoying people away, but they're not stopping people asking like, "Is this person alive? Is my husband alive?" Yada yada type stuff.
Well, Roan's just gonna kind of push past the crowd and start head towards the human representative's place.
Also,
Yep.
looking at the humans that were coming. No, not the humans. Like the soldiers that were arriving, like their general demeanor, like Is it obvious that they came from that they lost a fight, or they're just devastated, or it actually could have gone either way?
That'd be an insight check on the
Yeah.
parade then.
Yeah, did they lose hard? Did they actually win and still have this many casualties? Insight 14.
They don't have the downward stairs that you see with utter defeat, but a lot of them are not looking happy. At least.
They're a victory, maybe? If even?
Hey, they came back alive. That's a victory in and of itself.
A victory with a slight cost.
Which, as you say that, and as Rowan kind of pushes his way past and gets through, before the rest of you guys can really get past, is when the slower carts arrive, and you guys smell something that, as adventurers, is all too familiar of rot from the slower carts.
Ah, that makes
And
sense.
there it is.
Yeah. Smelt enough of
Rowan
that
would
in my time.
recognize it from his shout attack.
Best get out of here, though, before all of the civilians start seeing this.
Yep.
The wagon train finally gets past you guys, and you're all able to get across to where the district representative's office is. The guardsmen kind of, once everything's passed, there's not as much of a spectacle, so they kind of go back to their everyday positioning.
I'll just approach the office of the rep.
All right. As you approach the door that you guys that you remember pulling off its hinges, is just sort of lied across the side, and there's like a tarp that's just like been nailed in a couple places above the headboard.
Can I ask something first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Last time we came here, how many people were inside, aside from Frederick?
It was just Frederick inside the very small one-room office, and a couple of guards outside protecting the supply station, which is pretty much the same as it was from earlier in the day.
Okay.
I'm just gonna walk up and kind of with two fingers just knock on the door frame and lift up the tarp and enter.
Hi, how are you doing? Oh, it's you fellas. I didn't expect you to come back so early. Did you get the cards that fast?
Right, about that, so a bit of an issue.
His smile that he had immediately fades.
You kinda sent us in there a bit blind, and what we were meant to do, turns out, was what you were meant to do.
Don't tell me that fool of a boy. I actually had some plans for everything. I apologize if I gave you any trouble. I was only told a couple of code words.
No. It's no trouble, however, all I need is just a favor. This isn't asking for you to relinquish your power or anything. He just wants to talk. That's it. I don't know if he wants to give up his power, or if he wants you to give up your power. He just wants you to come down and talk, and I can promise you, we will escort you safely. We know all the locations of the traps and have disabled some of them, so we can get you down safely.
I can tell you now, the one wants me to give up my power. I don't understand why he and his friends think that he deserves to lead this place. He's a child. You don't put a child in front of a government-run sector. It's just common bloody sense.
I get where you're coming from, but to be fair, he has a pretty impressive system down there.
A system of thieves and crooks that he uses to keep the kids in line.
All I ask of you is to just come with us down there, because he's promised that if you come down with us, alright, unharmed, he will give me the ID card.
You sure the boy is not going to keep me prisoner until I give up something, yada yada?
He will not be keeping anybody prisoner.
We can promise that you will not be harmed.
I'm not sure what the boy wants to talk about. I've already told him his little messengers there's plenty of times my status on the subject. But if he really wants to have a heart-to-heart that much... At this point, guardsman kind of pretty much does the same thing that you did, Rowan. Kind of like knocks on the side before lifting the tarps. Excuse me, sir. Apologies, I didn't realize you had company, sir. The caravan has passed by. We've made sure that no one bothered the injured, but we do have a few of them kind of costing the few non-casualties that are remaining outside. Should we go and give them a hand? And the district rep just kind of puts his head in his hand. Aye, those men have been through enough. Go and get those gawkers away from them. And at that point, the guardsman kind of nods, and those of you who are closer to the door frame kind of notices he just like motions to like 2 or 3 other guardsmen around, and they head towards to what looks like a big sort of like group of people near the gateway to the city.
So, will he be coming?
I think he said so. Surprised it was this easy.
Look, if you really want... I don't understand why the boy can't just come here. I've asked him as much, but apparently he thinks that he's going to be captured and sent to prison or something. Which we don't do to kids here, I'll have you know.
I think it's more of just a peace of mind on his part, and why not do the kid a favor and just head that way? Ease his mind a bit. Plus, you wouldn't have to be dealing with any messengers. You could be dealing with him directly.
I mean, kid's pretty smart. I'm sure he can offer more than you think.
I'd just like to interject here that you're all suggesting he go through a path that was dangerous for you guys to go through.
We know all the traps, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that you have to keep in mind all of these invitations down to meet him were with the traps there and armed.
Yes, however, that he was also told to ask for a tour guide who would help him through.
And to go
And
along.
Yeah,
explained
the little girl was there to escort him,
Not
Frederick, if he came there.
Not you
To go
guys.
along.
Yes. Alright. A lot of you give me persuasion checks who are trying to help out.
Oh boy.
And I
All
got
of us?
I'll go for him.
Wow,
Oh,
are
if only
you
that was advantage.
1 sec, this thing.
Oh no!
And
if
yes,
this doesn't work, Telsum has an like emergency button. Don't-
I would argue that you guys should all roll at disadvantage because you're trying to convince him to give up his authority essentially to a child.
We never
No, we're
said that.
not.
We said
He knows-
we just want him to
He
talk.
knows that's the end game and still entertaining the delusions of a child after a literal parade of corpses from the front, from like the literal
Not
front
exactly the front lines. This was a side thing.
came by, like
Okay,
It's
well, wow. Yeah, I was
kind
rolling
of hard
his.
to convince people.
I was rolling his
to
insight, so I
give
didn't see
their-
this. Alright, I got that, guys. Wow, yeah. Yeah, I wish you did have advantage on that one, Talisman, because he beat all of you guys pretty handedly.
I figured.
Look, I don't understand why I need to be leaving my post to go talk to this kid. He doesn't really have any real power. He runs a small gang of children.
Telsum gives a
obviously
big sigh.
he does have power.
and-
Well, he has
Go ahead.
power over Rowan. Not much else.
Okay, what does he need to do?
And if there are other guards watching, he will cast on them as well because he can cast it on.
I will say you guys are alone in this room with him, and the few guards who were close enough to see just left to go check something else out.
It's a wisdom
Okay.
saving spell with a DC of 15.
Wisdom save.
Just
Alright.
keep in mind the last sentence of that spell.
Oh,
I just need him to
Hey.
go downstairs.
To be fair,
He
When
rolled-
the spell
Hey.
ends,
This isn't-
the creature knows
Guys.
it was charmed by
I
you.
know.
yes.
that
Y'all
doesn't matter.
motherfuckers getting charged.
That doesn't matter.
Guys. He rolled a 7, and he has no modifier.
Nice.
So he is now charmed
you're
by
not,
you.
Ricky, please, you're not here. We'll worry about it when we get there.
I'm the one who's
So-
gonna have to execute you, motherfucker.
Do not make me mute the wizard. But yes, tells him he is then charmed by you.
Look,
Charmed creature
so
regards you as a
Talsum,
friendly acquaintance.
okay, yeah.
Alright.
Talsum goes. So Talsum, as he starts saying that he shouldn't go, Talsum gets closer and takes out a handful of gold coins. Listen, if you're worried about wasting your time, something that's not important, I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can fix that. Seriously, I honestly believe this meeting you could have will make things a lot better for everyone in this district.
Wait, are you trying to bribe him after charming him?
Bribing him also failed before.
Is that what you
If
pulled
he-
the goal out for? I'm just trying to be clear here.
I mean, if I feel like that won't work, did we bribe him?
Yeah.
Okay, if we tried that before and it didn't work, then yeah, never mind. Talsum just tries being more cordial then.
Alright, then you get advantage on another persuasion check, and a lot of you can assist him if you want as well.
What's assisting? Isn't like I just make a roll as well.
You guys say something, I tell you if it counts enough to...
Also,
add into the DC.
Talsum ends with a wink.
Alright. Yeah.
The time.
Yay!
Ooh.
Oh,
I need to roll for him at disadvantage now.
I mean, I'm just standing there looking intimidating still. Like, I'm gonna kick your butt if you don't get moving.
roll for intimidation.
Looks like that wink did it. He just kind of shoves in his desk where he had some stuff. He's like, alright, fine. Seems like something fun to do for the day. Let's go.
I'll lead the way to the alley.
That's right. I'm sure you're doing your very best to help these people, and I truly believe this will do just that.
Yes, these people are my lives. These people's lives are my own. I really don't have a family, so... And this is all happening as you guys are walking. So I try my best to help out this section as much as I can.
I'm sure this is... I can see many people doing what you're doing and doing much better.
Wow, was that an insult?
No, like this is. I
That
truly.
was as backhanded a compliment as you could give.
That's
That
what-
was a straight up
Rowan is
fucking
going to
insult.
Pick up the
You
pace.
literally just said, "I think a bunch of people could do your job."
No, I said
he said
didn't.
can't.
No,
Yeah.
can't.
Oh, you cut out, so that's why I thought you said can.
Yeah. Yeah, you cut out a can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard the can't.
I didn't.
I did not.
okay. If witness is good.
All right. I do what I can, honestly, but I'm only just a district representative. I have the most minimal power in the government, really. If it weren't for this darn war, we'd be able to help everybody here, but so much resources are going towards the fighting. And I'm not against the fighting, and I'm against the overabundance of the city's taxation that's going only to that. It's taking up 2/3 of the monthly income.
I get it. There's also the raiders to worry about, right?
Aye, the damn raiders keep breaking in my damn door, what used to be my damn door, and taking everything from the storehouse.
I've heard there are defectors from both sides. Is that right?
Yeah, some of those of us who didn't want to join and didn't want to be harangued for not joining, and those who tried to escape the conscription of the North, who were going to be chastised from being from the North, decided to form their own group, and now they're harassing everyone.
At the what used to be my door, Rowan would just go, sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. Like I said before, the thing was on its last leg.
Look, I'm sure those raiders realize that once this war is over, regardless of who wins, it won't end well for them. So maybe we can convince them to do some good, but that's thinking a bit too far ahead.
At this point, you guys will have been walking for a little bit, and the conversation's happening a bit more sporadically than the actual one. And you guys have gotten into the culvert that you guys initially went down into. As you get to the entranceway, you look around, and there's still nobody here. It's still almost as deserted. But the entranceway is still open.
Yeah, I'll lead the way in.
All right. Let me just change one thing. We're gonna stay on this map, but
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, these kids are resourceful, right?
Yep. You guys go down the same stairway that you were led down before, and you get to the bottom. And when you go through it, at this point, it's not empty like it was last time. There is a handful of not full-on children, more like teenagers, but like younger teens, probably like...
Preteen.
No, think like 14, 15 years old.
Oh.
Not necessarily like, close to being adults, but teenagers.
Yeah.
Jace was also that age?
Jace was 12.
Ooh, okay.
Jace is 12,
He's
I
a
should say.
preteen.
Yeah, he is a preteen. But these ones
To be
all...
fair, last time we saw him was last year, so who knows?
I'm supposed to remember something from a year ago. Yes, but
How long was the walk?
as you guys go down here, you see, because you can tell they're children because A, they're human, and B, they are, the size of teenagers. But they are all wearing like dark leather cloaks and essentially what you would consider generic rogue gear to be. And some of them clearly have weapons. And when they notice Frederick, they kind of like nod at you guys and kind of start
I'll
leading
nod
you
back.
without a word. They start leading you through the same place that you guys went through, obviously around the traps.
Yeah.
And eventually they get to the door, where one of them is the door to the main area that you guys were in, and one of them knocks in some particular manner. It's clearly not just like a general knock, like it's
We
purposeful.
already asked before we left how you knocked to have it unlocked.
Yep. And it's not the same knock that you guys were told.
Oh.
It is slightly different. You're not sure
Which
why.
one?
You're not sure. It's got a couple... Yes?
I'm gonna pull out my axe and carry it in front of me now.
All right.
I have an axe.
You guys are entering.
And my axe.
You guys are brought into the main chamber, where it's very similar to the last one, except this time you don't hear anything. Seems almost like it's been abandoned. And these 4 or 5 teenage kids sort of form like a line on either side of you guys and directing you into Jace's office that you were in last time.
You mean like there's a line of them on either side of the doorway and we have to walk in between them?
Yep.
Are any of the kids the ones we've seen before?
You can roll a quick history check if you want.
Are there?
Like, I remember the Goliath kid at least.
No,
Was that Holden?
Holden was the Goliath teenager. He was a lot older than these ones are, and as a Goliath, he is obviously like the size of a full-grown adult. But he's clearly not there.
Are their faces covered or?
No, their faces aren't covered. They have like hoods up.
Okay, but the hoods are up.
Yeah, think like Assassin's Creed almost.
Yeah. I'm just okay. Trying to gauge how secretive they're trying to be. Let's see.
Rowan, you don't recognize any of them. Tells them you recognize a couple of these kids were in the classroom last time you were there.
Okay. This was like half an hour ago, right?
About an hour and a half. Took you guys a while to get through the parade, quote unquote. Because it was a lot longer than I could.
Did we get a short rest there? Watching bodies pass by.
How long is the short list? Like 15 minutes, I think. Right?
An hour.
An hour.
No, you guys didn't get a full
Okay.
hour's rest.
Last time I bring this up.
Are we in his office now?
Depends. If you guys want to walk straight to his office, you can do that.
Yep.
I am. I'm holding back. I'm not walking in between those kids just yet.
They're not looking at you menacingly or anything like that. They're just they have the same purposeful look as those guards that were keeping people away from the caravan.
I mean, seeing Albrich stop in his tracks, Talsum just looks around and just shrugs and keeps going.
Yeah, I'll
Locks the
head
door.
on in.
All right.
Once they are safely in, I will follow them.
Okay.
Also, Talsum would have tried to like keep Frederick like hands over his shoulders, just hey, we're good buddies, if you let him.
Yeah, he's good. He's being all buddy with Theo and this stuff. As he comes down, he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize that this was even over here." Type of stuff. You're like, "Oh, that's interesting." Type things. Like when the bookshelf door opens, he's like, "Oh, how ingenious."
As we walk into the office, Jim's like, "Hello, old friend. We're back, and as promised, here he is."
Yep.
Where's the flump?
As you open the door, you guys don't see anybody but Jace. You don't even see the baby dragonborn that was there last time.
Makes sense.
He's sitting behind his desk, kind of with like not like the evil villain pyramid hand thing, but like his hands kind of interlocked with the shoulders on the desk, or with his elbows on the desk. I mean,
Are we sure he's not petting the baby dragonborn like a cat?
Or the flump, for that matter.
Yeah.
We don't see the flump anywhere.
you guys have yet to see any of the flumps again in this period. Oh, what? He's just like, well, screw me. I didn't realize that you guys would get him that quickly. I thought I'd have to wait till the next day at least.
Well, it took a little bit of a push. Is the door closed?
Yeah, at this point, one of the kids will have closed the door behind you.
Does Albrich get in?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm walking
Okay.
I'm walking around the entire room, no matter how small it is. I'm checking every corner to see if I can find the flump.
Jace kind of notices you doing that. Don't worry, there, my dwarven friend. My companion and his folk are well off, as well as most everyone else. I didn't want them to get in the middle of this.
Okay, so before we get started, I feel like this is important to say. The only reason we were able to bring Mr. Nieder here on such short notice is thanks to some magical aid, shall we say, to loosen his attitude a little bit.
You
So
charmed,
just to
you
say-
charmed him, huh?
Yeah. In about half an hour, let's say, I'm talking to Frederick at this point, and in about half an hour, Mr. Nieder, you're gonna feel a bit, well, probably not very happy. But I hope you understand this is truly for the best.
I'll turn
Right.
to.
Of course, buddy. And Jace actually kind of like looks towards you, tells him, "Well, actually, if you don't mind, I'd rather him have his full clear head about him. Could you just drop the spell right now?" And
I mean, I was looking at that. It doesn't say charmed person is concentration, so
You
unless
can still drop spells,
you can drop spells no matter what. It doesn't have to be concentration for you to drop a spell.
but Rowan will just kind of hold his hand. Before that, ID card, please.
Okay, so before he drops it, Mr. Frederick, would you like to take just a small little vow in the name of the city that you won't, like, get mad and storm off before you have a little conversation?
Oh, I'd be your matter too, friend.
Excellent. And I whisper to Rowan, grab him by the shoulder.
Ro just kind of wrap his arm around Frederick, just kind of like,
Well, I'm not usually a hugging fellow, but I'm not opposed to it.
We'll see if that's true. And I drop the charm.
His smile immediately turns into like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, and you get that sort of like very like disappointed dad scowl on him as he looks right at you, tells him, "Was that really necessary?"
I mean, it really won't take long, I'm sure.
Big fella, would you mind letting me go? I'm not going to be hurting anyone.
right, sorry. And Rowan lets go.
At this point, he just sort of like looks towards the kid. So you're the little fellow that I've been hearing all about that wants my position.
Can I have my ID card? Rowan just says, like, really awkwardly standing there.
Jace kind of sits up with something in his hand, kind of motions for Frederick Nieder to sit down. And Nieder begrudgingly, but it's clear he's here already, he might as well. And he just kind of sits down as Jace stands up, walks over to you, Rowan. I was stuck in Nieder for a sec there. Well, fair's pay for fair's work. Here you go. And he hands you off what looks to be the exact same card as the rest of the party has had for such a long time, but blank. Except for, obviously, the serial number and everything on it, but...
How do I get my name on this thing?
Well, you gotta have the district representative who's in charge of the area pen it in with his specific tool.
I'll slide it on over to Frederick.
Oh, I left that in my office, son.
That's entirely your own damn fault.
Ah, the wonders of bureaucracy.
Well, look. Y'all are welcome to stay for the conversation if you want, considering how much you have helped it come about. We don't need to be here. You can go...
Great, I was hoping for another mimic. Ugh! And I crack my knuckles and stretch.
He kind of scowls a bit at that. Unfortunately, we ain't got...
mimic named Terry.
Unfortunately, we ain't got any more pets for you to kill unless you want to try and take out a news by yourself.
Nothing to worry about.
Tussin will stay, like, off to the side.
Yeah, it's not a big office because this is also clearly his bedroom as well. So there's like 2 other chairs and his bed, which is a child-sized bed.
So it's Albrich sized. I'm gonna hop on the bed and lie down.
Yeah, no, that's accurate.
Dream
Rowan would just
office.
sit on the floor. Just occasionally. Grumbling about stuff about, like, cards and pens and stuff. You'd almost think he was going into a rage.
Alright, you trying to say something, Delson?
If this happened in the modern day, would it be a race car bed?
No. What?
Oh.
It's a race chariot bed.
It's
Just imagine this well-furnished office, a kid in a suit, and his race car bed in the corner.
It's a decently furnished office made out of what's clear scrap wood and other materials, but he is wearing a decently nice suit for a 12-year-old.
That's it. Go on.
So without going into further detail, they kind of argue for a bit here and there about how the election went and how the election system is. Nieder's just constantly going on his opinion that the system that they have in place is not there for a reason, and coming up with your own system doesn't mean that you win our system type of conversation. The kids voted for him even though they technically couldn't. And so he's basically saying, like, it still doesn't count even if you got more votes, especially since most of them wouldn't have counted in a normal election anyway. And he's just going along that route and talking about that. And Jason's just counteracting with a lot of stuff about how the system of government, yada yada. I would have written out this whole conversation, but I didn't want to be talking to myself for half an hour and boring the shit out of you guys.
Plus, also, Rowan has no clue about politics or anything, so
Give
he's
me
there
half
blank,
of it. I'll be
with like a blank stare.
But eventually it gets to the point where they talk about the need for protection of the district and how the city guard is never going to follow a child, no matter how much authority given, because most of the guardsmen just wouldn't respect him because of his age. At which point, Jace brings up the point about the raiders again, and how the city guard are worthless in doing what they're doing right now anyway. At which point, Nieder brings up the point that they have tried to yada yada, get rid of them, yada yada, and the conversation just leads down a rabbit hole to the point where they come to somewhat of an understanding almost. And this may be one of the things that I've rolled for.
Ooh.
Now, I'm going to take up Talsum's call. Are we here long enough that we would get a short rest?
If you want, you can get a short rest, because this does take a good couple hours. I'll give that to you guys. Especially since most of it you guys have either heard already or does not pertain to you at all.
Yeah, Rowan has no clue about politics and does not care. He's just wanting someone to give him his ID card filled out. He has it. He just needs it filled out.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that that wasn't the berserk button for Nieder after like a literal parade of injured and dead guardsmen came through the town.
There were plenty of times where Nieder in this conversation was simply just screaming at the kid. And based off of the whole conversation that you guys paid attention to, Nieder is a lot more hot-headed than the kid is. He obviously has a deep love for the people in his area and wants to make sure that, he's not a horrible person. He just is a lot more aggressive in his defense.
Patrioticism.
Unlike the child, he's actually sent people to their deaths to try to resolve problems and has had the actual weight of authority on his shoulders. And hasn't had a bunch of super Ricky-level intelligent fucking underground monsters that have a ridiculous mastery of magic helping him out.
So, I'm glad you brought a couple of those points up, Ricky, even though you're not there. He does bring up the point that he has sent people to their deaths and thinks that the kid can't handle it, at which point the kid brings up, he's done that too. Not every kid that he sends to go out on supply runs comes back.
On thefts.
And
like the one
the other thing that I want you to do
to Rowan to start the quest line.
The other thing that I want everybody who's paying attention to the conversation to do is to roll a bit of an insight check on the whole conversation.
Normally, Thompson wouldn't care, but in this case, he
Oh!
Damn.
I would have been paying attention for probably the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Damn.
That's good enough.
Well,
Tellsome
was trying.
Tellsome you're the
Otherwise, he wouldn't even try.
Your brain gets fried by some of the politics of it all.
Albrich is actually like a master student and can learn and retain information in his sleep. So he's just been napping and extracting all the valuable information from the conversation.
All right, Ricky, please. So Albrich and Rowan, you guys would have noticed that the entire conversation for the multiple hours that this whole boring thing is going on, Jace never once brings up the fact that he has the flumps. The flumps are never even mentioned once.
Rowan isn't gonna say anything.
In fact, Jace is kind of making it seem as though he's able to do all this stuff with just the kids on his payroll.
I believe that part of the conversation that we had previously last year
He said
sometime
not to,
was that we. Yeah, so I'm trying to get clear in my memory.
Yes, it's like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. We said that. Or, I mean, we knew that they were being kept a secret, but we also said that we weren't going to say anything about them. I think that's what we had or been asked by Jace, but maybe I'm wrong.
He did ask you to do that, and like you said, it was last year, 3 weeks ago, so I can't really remember myself particularly, but I feel like you're kind of on the right point there, where the most of you guys said, yeah, we'll try and keep it secret if possible.
All right. Yeah. I will take note of it. I don't say anything though.
Alrighty then. Conversation gets to the point where it's about the Raiders again, near the end of it all. They clearly see eye to eye on the needs of the area, and agree that the current system is not one that can stay the way it is, with the fact that they just don't have enough men to defend the place. And when Jace brings up the fact that he has more recent intel on how close the invading army is, you kind of see Nieder just kind of slump down in the chair like, well, shit. Because apparently he did not know that the invasion was that close away. And at which point Jace steers the conversation towards the potential of getting the Raiders on the side of the city. And
That was Talsum's idea as well.
And I need to roll something. Okay.
Can Talsum add something to this?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
At some point he just goes, so these raiders, since they're made of defectors from both sides, I've told Nieder this before, regardless of who wins, they'll be going for their necks. So, have you tried giving them pardons to join our side? Because they probably know that they have no escape either way.
Jace,
Unless they leave the country completely.
they both at that point they both kind of look at you. Jace and Nieder kind of both look at you a little weird. Jace is the first one to say, I didn't actually think of doing that in particular. And Nieder kind of looks at Jace at this point. Well, me either. I figured most of them would probably just want to kill us on sight, but it could be a good idea of getting them on sight if we're able to actually contact them. And Jace brings up the point that he has contacts with the Raiders who are willing to talk as long as they talk with someone who has actual power, which is one of the reasons why he wants the power from Nieder.
Now we're getting some resolution.
Oh. And I rolled a couple of things. Nieder rolled a lot better. He got a net 20 on some things. Conversation eventually gets to the point where Nieder will agree to let Jace be his quote-unquote assistant.
Advisor?
But in reality, he would be essentially an advisor / equal.
All right, so
Because there's no...
president.
Because he puts out very clearly there is no legal way to get him officially recognized by the city until he turns 18 to be anything like a district representative.
Rowan would just kind of pitch in. Well, you could say that you're just training up the lad because you see potential in him. So you're training him up while he's young so that by the time he grows up, he can take that position on.
And Jace kind of just sits back in his chair, puts his head in his chin. Well, I'm not opposed to that as long as you are okay with methods I use to keep my people in line. I'm not saying we're doing anything evil, but not a lot of it's legal, unfortunately. And Meter, because of the rules I got for him, begrudgingly agrees to allow Jace to continue his current practices as long as it doesn't actively hurt the city.
Woo!
Would I know if those practices he meant were the flumps?
With your insight you rolled earlier, you're not really.
But do the others know?
Rowan
If
would
that's
be
what he means, or
Rowan would be
something
the
else.
only one who would realize that he's kind of asking for him to not ask where they're getting the stuff from because he doesn't want to explain the flumps. So Rowan would be the only one who would realize that Jace is very smartly just trying to keep him from inquiring about anything that the flumps are a part of.
Rowan would get very wide-eyed, but wouldn't say a single word.
At which point, they actually stand up and shake hands and look towards you guys. Well,
Rowan stands up.
well, with that figured out, it's best if we walk over to my office so that I can get my engraving tools and get that card of yours filled out, son.
Yes, please.
At which point, they actually sign a couple of papers that Jace had ready, and they had to write a couple of brand new papers because they didn't think of a couple things that would come up in the conversation. And so now, technically, even though not recognized by the official city government, the kid does have equal power. Not his power,
So
but
we
the
didn't
same.
oust a government official, we just added one.
An unofficial official, yes.
Yeah. Kind of like that shady guy that's advising the real one, so a puppet master.
But
Except it's actually advising, maybe?
And at this point, when you guys open the door, the kids in the hoods aren't there anymore. But there are a couple of kids who are just in normal clothes, kind of walking around normally. And when Nita kind of looks around and sees all the stuff, the kids just, living their lives, doing a bunch of stuff, he's like, well, I can see why some of these kids follow you over to the city government. Unfortunately, a lot of our youth centers are nowhere near equipped as this. And at which point, Jace and Nita are walking back with you to the office now. If you guys want to go continue with them, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got to get his card signed.
I figured, but I wanted to ask. I didn't know how comfortable Albrich was in the bed.
Albrich went to the bathroom and
Fought the toilet.
sat outside when the kid was crying inside with an axe again.
Okay.
During the conversation, did Jace at any time mention he came from the north? I think he's the son of a northern commander.
No, but from what you guys have seen in this area, it's fairly obvious that he is from the north because the southern accent that I use for people indicates that they are from the north of this country. So unless Nita was oblivious to that fact, which he probably isn't, he would know this kid is from the north at least. But Jace never made mention of why he had such,
And does Nita have a southern accent?
Neither has. I'm trying to do Irish, but you're not quite sure what that is. You've seen it a couple of times in the city, but he has not necessarily the southern accent that the northern people have, and not necessarily the Australian accent that the southern people have.
So
Do we see a lot of bobbies set up?
No. Yeah. So
This is also good for dealing with the raiders because Jace will help with the northern ones maybe, and Nita hopefully with the southern middle ones.
Yep. So you guys are escorted via Jason Nita all the way back, and we're just gonna skip ahead to the office where finally, after so much time, Rowan has his card properly filled out, handed to him, and is now finally able to go about the city.
Rowan gets and just, let's go!
And before it's immediately stolen.
As you're starting to run off in pure joy, Nita kind of reaches out. If you wouldn't mind, we could use a bit of help before you leave.
Oh,
What kind of help?
Well, we don't really have anyone qualified to defend us that we can bring with us to meet with these raiders. We just don't have any guardsmen to spare, and I will not let any children come as guards.
When are we going?
Rowan just has that look of a child who just got a toy but is told he can't play with it.
When you
I mean,
ask,
what are you gonna do with that? You just have to show some people that you're cool now.
when you ask that, Albrich, Jace does a high-pitched whistle, and out of nowhere, from one of the alleys, kid appears in like the same hooded getup, walks up, just kind of like looks at you guys a little shifty, like, and hands Jace a piece of paper, and then scampers off. At which point, Jace kind of opens it up, and it's a map with a couple of things written on the side. Well, this is all the info I got on them. Map to the location where they're willing to meet me, and the right keywords to get in without having them shoot us on sight.
So, when do we need to go?
We can go right now if you want. Nita kind of like coughs at that. He's like, really? Should we not wait a couple of days? We don't have a couple of days. If we want to get these people in the refugee center and set up in time for the actual invasion, we need to go now.
Yeah, we got, and I'll kind of circle the four of us. We got stuff we're supposed to be doing inside, for the war chief. So if we're gonna do something, we got to do it quick. And I look over at Talsum and the others to see if they're willing and ready to go, or if we need to wait.
I mean, I'm cool. Guys, think you have any chance of getting Ricky?
do you think he'd be of help?
I mean, I know he'd be of help. Not sure if he'd be willing to help.
Probably not. He said he had some magic things he was busy with.
You know none of my objections.
I will say this. This would be about the time when this conversation is happening. Is about the time that Ricky finally sits down in bed at the inn for one.
We just
So
come
it's-
busting in. Hey, buddy!
When they kill
So
some
it's-
bandits?
It's nighttime now.
He got done kind of in the late day. The reason why he had such levels of exhaustion is because the amount of work that he did.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just, I thought you had indicated it was like nighttime when he was
Yeah,
done
you
with
said it
all
was
his stuff.
sundown.
It was just
So-
starting to be sundown, so like 6 o'clock or so.
Okay.
Which is accurate because you guys kind of went back down
I
at 3.
do most of my stuff in 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys brought Nier down around 3 o'clock, and it took a good couple hours for the conversation to happen. So, and then about another hour to come up and get the card filled out.
I say we don't have enough time with the sun's positioning. Let's go now.
Yeah, or we could just kind of send him a message, have a runner send a message, and I look at Jace to have him come meet us or join us somewhere if he's not busy.
Well, their leader won't ever leave the camp, from what I've figured out. She only sends her lackeys out, and I don't want to be conversating with a lackey. It's one of the reasons why I wanted him brought down, as he points towards Nita.
I just out of character feel really bad for Ricky not being here.
It was his choice.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
He chose
I
not to
achieved
come, to be
most
fair.
of the objectives we needed to do before the siege.
Yeah.
He did get a lot done.
You will need 3 long rests in order to get rid of that exhaustion, though.
And you guys still have 2 days from tonight before the invasion, to be clear.
All right. Well, yeah. So that would be my suggestion. Is I would ask Jace if he has a runner that he could send with a note. Otherwise, let's just get this done because we have things to do
I
for the
say
war
we
chief.
just go.
All right. If you'll give me just a moment, I need to set something up.
So we're the only guards?
Yeah.
4 of us.
Nieder expressed that he can't spare any guardsmen to come.
Yeah.
And, oh my, I need to adjust some things.
And children, no good.
One sec.
If that mimic were alive, you could have brought it on a leash.
It's a chest, you can just hold it.
There's always
Albrich
the ooze.
just holding his, it's going. "La!"
Like a chain chomp.
I mean, I suppose if I hadn't been raging, I might have thought about trying to tame it.
To be fair, Jace, when I go to the bathroom, suddenly you're attacked by a chest with teeth. I'd be pissed.
Oh, I need to grab this real quick. I almost ran through it. My bad. I thought I had this uploaded. I don't. That's why. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Just don't let it happen again.
Oh, it's gonna, I'm not the best at this. It's going to happen again. All right. Alrighty then. So you guys head off, and you head a ways out too. It is almost dark. Like, you can start to see stars out when you guys eventually get to a portion of the woods. You guys are still on the map one, right? So it'd probably be like you actually cross the river, and it's kind of like out here in this direction from what you can figure.
Where?
Boop.
The Raiders?
Okay.
The Raider camp, yes.
That's really close. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So is this like a forested area?
Yeah, it's a very forested area with a few roads and a few small creeks. And eventually you guys find a path that doesn't look like the ones built by the city. It's very clear that this is like a forest path. And as you get up it, eventually you hear some sort of like bird calls or something like that, which, you know, it's the forest. But then out of nowhere, Jace suddenly makes another bird call to counter it. At which point, people come out of the woods, and there's a really big guy. Like a massive guy, like a good 2 heads above Rowan. But he is human.
Does he look bigger than the war chief?
He is slightly smaller than the war chief.
Yeah, he's nothing. I could take it easy.
Is it Robert Maye?
He just kind of looks down at you and smiles. The lady will see you soon. As 2 more guys come out of the woods and are behind, kind of come up behind you guys, and he just sort of like motions to follow him.
A little bead of sweat pops up on Rowan's forehead.
Well, it's not the worst hospitality I've had.
I get to move it back. I get to move you guys to a new picture now, and I need to change the audio. I just realized you're not in the basement anymore. That's no problem. There we go. No, that's not right. That one. Wrong thing. Boom. They come up on your...
Yep.
Yep.
Look, there's a dead body in the middle of there.
Is that lions?
Those are dire wolves.
Oh!
They're like wolves, but dire.
Yeah, I've been
Yep.
by a few in Ark.
And you guys are kind of led forward by this guy, who I will expand for you.
Damn.
Oh.
He's really big.
Uh,
I just want to give you guys a good view of him.
could take him with no problem.
But he's kind of leading you guys ahead. I kind of put you in what I figured would be a good order. This guy down here is Neater.
Is who?
This guy down here in Neater is Neater, the one in the bottom.
Oh, that's Neater. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then Jace is between Talisman and Styx.
Not gonna lie, I forgot Styx was here.
He's been
Yeah, I
here the
think-
whole time. He's just been kind of like he's been siding with
Robo
Besides-
Styx.
he's been siding with Jace on a lot of the conversation.
I think Styx and I would have switched places, though. I wouldn't be in front.
No.
I think he would have been the one in front. Yeah.
So you guys are led through this area, and as you are, you do see a couple of things. They have plenty of sentries set up around the area. Over here, you see a handful of goblins that are like rooting through the trash for stuff, and it's clear that these are not the same goblin villagers you guys helped out before. These are, first of all, they're all male, and second of all, they all look like they have battle scars from various things. Yeah, there is a person over here, like watching over a bunch of dire wolves in a pit, which are currently chewing on the remnants of some sort of dead body. At this point, it's unrecognizable as to who the body was. There's got a handful of people with sitting around by the fires. These guys right here are humans. There are a couple of hobgoblins as well, and most of the archers are orcs. You're kind of led through here. If I can get this to work. Work? Okay. And he kind of stops here, with Talism kind of just at the edge of the pit. There is no railing or anything, it's literally like a 10-foot pit down.
This does not follow safety protocols.
Yeah, those wolves can jump. Watch out.
I'm not terrible with animals.
I will say, I built this map with the thought in mind of you guys potentially just being like, alright, let's go kill them all!
I mean, that's been my intention this whole time, but people want to talk, so whatever.
Might still happen.
True. It might
Yeah,
still
we
happen.
don't know how these negotiations will go down.
I need to go to this layer. These two hobgoblins kind of nod at the one guy in front as... Oh, I need... God damn it, I need...
Also, think Icarus wants to take a break.
Oh, yeah. We can do that right now if you want, since it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I haven't had dinner yet.
Go eat food, sir! We'll come back in, let's say, like 10-15 minutes.
Alright, thank you.
No problem at all, and that way I can maneuver a bunch of this stuff because I built this as a combat map. Hello, everybody. We're back. We've all had some snacks, and we're back into it. I've adjusted the map slightly, which I need to adjust on stream. I just realized. Give me a minute. There we go. That's what everything looks like now. So yeah, as you guys go through this area has a bunch of different tents set up, and that pit full of the dogs, all the guards around. You reach this larger tent that's right at the bank of a creek in the woods, and suddenly a lot of the people in the area start surrounding you.
Rowan looks very nervous.
I'm not nervous, but I pull my axe out.
The men around you kind of like focus down on Albrich the moment they see him pull his weapon. These guys have a very ragtag setup of gear. You can recognize some of the city guards' armor and weapons amongst all these guys, but kind of like a random smattering of it, as well as some of the northern stuff from that one force that you met when you first arrived in the country. You can see kind of their iconography as well. But again, it's all kind of smattered and mushed together with all these people, so they all have random eclectic mix of weapons, armor, and gear.
Telsum is making sure he's within arm's reach of Jace at all times. As long as danger seems possible.
Friedrich is kind of being the protective figure around Jace as well. He has his gun not drawn and pointed, but in his hand.
Rowan has his hand like on the gun, but it's still in the holster.
And
Specifically the 350.
the big guy goes into the tent for a split second, and you hear some talking from inside before he again comes out right in front of you, Rowan. And like I said, this guy is massive. You would think he's a Goliath, but based off of his size, but he is human, from what you can tell.
Hello.
And right behind him, if I can get this to work, comes out this woman. And I will blow up her image for you in a sec. Just make it a bit easier to see.
Oh.
Is she a pirate?
It's the image is from an image of pirates, but she has the same skull iconography though.
Is she dressed that way too, or is she actually?
Yes.
Oh,
She comes out and she is essentially wearing a bikini.
Telsum straightens his back.
Evening.
Druid.
Kind of looks right at you, Rowan. Are you the district rep, fella?
Oh no, that's him back there, and I'll point to. I can't remember his name for some reason.
Neater, Frederick.
Yeah.
Nita kind of waves, and she's just sort of like puts one finger forward, and she's like, "Come." She's like, "Come over here," towards him. And Jace is kind of like slowly behind him as well. I'm just gonna reposition people. Just a sec, real quick.
Did you use a picture of Artemis Fowl for Jace?
Yes.
Fuck.
Nope, wrong thing. There we go.
Also 10 out of 10 for the Artemis Fowl.
I'm told you lot wants to talk to me about something. Keep having these kids showing up around here trying to tell us what to do. Now, we'd break their backs and send them back, but I don't really do that to kids. So I figured I'd entertain them a bit. When I was told the district rep wanted to talk, well, I figured I might want to see what he has to say. Now, tell me, why did you think you needed all this muscle? As she looks directly at Rowan.
Hi.
Well, I just like to exercise.
I mean, do you really think this is a lot of muscle considering what you have?
Rowan, I want you to roll me an insight since you're up close.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good enough. It's fairly obvious that the giant man behind her that led you guys in here gets very angry when he considers you to be muscle. And this woman is kind of keeping herself with a decent amount of swagger. Now, what is it that you wanted to propose that's going on here? Because, the way I see it, we got some really high-value captives in our camp right now.
To be fair, humans aren't exactly seen in the best of light these days. So, probably not as worth as much as you think.
Well, maybe not as much as the other races in the city, but a district rep is still somebody they might be willing to pay for. And I don't know about a lot of you, but I don't see any reason why not.
I mean, do you really think people would pay for him, considering how little outfitted he is? He doesn't even have a door. He has a top.
Neither just kind
Judging by his doors.
of looks at you. Well, that's because he doesn't. That's because of you, not them.
Roll with it. Roll with it. Shh.
And you also notice that from the big guy, you get a hearty chuckle from him when you mention the door.
Do we see the door anywhere?
What else they took here as a trophy? No, it was leaning up against the office because there's no way to hang it on the wall mountings anymore.
I thought it was taken, never mind. Just be used as a table or something.
At this point, Jace kind of like pushes himself in front of Nita. Now look, it was my people who sent the messages. I'm probably the one you want to be talking to. Nita is just here as in an official capacity from the city to make sure that this is a legal conversation. And Nita just kind of nods at that because he's incredibly intimidated by the slowly expanding encirclement around you guys.
Yes, this Artemis Fowl is my son. And he'll be handling the negotiation. I'm going to go faint.
In Goblin, can I point to this one up here and just ask him how his day's going?
He looks incredibly confused that a dwarf is speaking Goblin. And he just responds, Shut up, Merc, and let the lady talk.
I don't need to listen to what she's got to say. You and I can talk for a minute.
Did a bandit just call you a merc as an insult?
Probably.
I don't care.
Man, that's some irony.
You fight for money. You fight to get money.
You fight for money, so do you. Yeah, but I'm honest about it.
You fight for money. Yeah, but, I mean, I don't steal it from people.
Alright. The goblin just sort of looks confused, and then looks towards the human next to him, whispers something, and he's just like, "What the fucking no? We're not going to take this one. No, it's doing it." He kind of looks at you, Albrich. Stop messing with the little ones.
I look at the goblin and I tell him in Goblin again, if you want to enjoy tomorrow, you better make sure things stay calm out there.
He looks even more confused. Out where?
Right where you're standing.
What? This guy is clearly not smart enough to understand what's going on.
To be honest, I don't think they're setting up an ambush. I think they're just genuinely confused about what's going on.
I just go back to checking the sharpness of my axe.
Tries to subtly threaten them. They're too fucking dumb to realize.
These are bandit goblins. So, yeah. Alright, so the conversation at this point has kind of turned into Jace speaking with Nieder nodding a lot. Kind of how, like you said earlier, Jace is the one doing all the talking, while Nieder's just there being like, yeah, we can do that because as he's the legal representative.
Nieder's that hype man just going, yeah, what he said.
Not necessarily a hype man, more along the lines of like the mediator almost, in a sense. And Jace brings up the prospect of, well, we think we might be able to get y'all a bunch of pardons and have you come in a probationary manner as temporary guardsmen for the refugee sector. Y'all can get the supplies that guardsmen get, and you'll be able to help us protect the place when the invasion comes. And she's just looking at it and is like, well, why would we want to do that? We can just leave. And
go where?
Well, anywhere.
But see, if the North ends up taking this place, they'll essentially have control over the entire continent if this is the biggest place they can get to. If they have control of that, they can get the resources to chase you down wherever.
She just looks back at you. I've been getting chased by the northern soldiers since this whole thing began. You think I don't know how to get away from them?
Well, then why not stop running? Why not fight back against them? You can win. With the resources that you've managed to get here, combined with what you can get as guardsmen there, and with us working with you, we can take them down. We even have an ally on our team who's not with us currently. He's back at the city working on what I hope are his productive things, and he's managed to take out an entire catapult on their battalion from a mile away. And a bunch of them in.
Yeah, like half a unit in 6 seconds.
All these folks that are moving closer,
Yeah.
what is their attitude, body position, demeanor? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you'll give me a second. Because some people are also coming out of the tents.
Oh boy.
No, I don't want that one. There we go. Oop. Oop. So you do notice that they're kind of the ones that were there already are kind of encroaching a bit more, and the ones in the tents are starting to come out to see what the whole ruckus is about.
You are cutting out quite a bit.
I am?
Yeah, just there, just in that little bit, you started cutting out really bad.
All right. Just let me repeat myself then. The ones that were already there are kind of encroaching just a little bit, and then you see quite a few more people come out of the tents trying to see what's going on. And if you want to get a general sense of them, then that would be an insight check. And, yeah, anyone can roll it if they want.
Fat 13.
It's very obvious that it's happening, and they're not being sneaky about it at all. But Albrich, these people look like they are trying to encircle you. You do not like being encircled, I assume.
I'm going to turn and look at the big guy. Not Rowan, the other big guy.
The
and
bigger
just
guy.
There's always a bigger fish.
calmly say, would you mind telling your friends to keep a bit of a distance? You're making me nervous.
I'm making a little fellow nervous. All of you, quit your gawk and head back to work. Unless I ain't a kidnapping yet.
Do they start to go back to their things?
Some of them do. The majority of them seem like they're way too interested. They back up a little bit. Let me do this.
Tells him thinking how he probably should have left his purse back at the inn.
My purse.
In fact, the goblins just go back to rooting through the trash.
His fanny pack of gold.
This guy right here is clearly just like working with the dogs. He's not actually paying attention to you guys.
But I'll still be talking to her just like,
What you've got here is an impressive operation, and with the amount of coordination you've got here, you can protect the entire human district, and if you do it well enough, I don't see why you can't be offered a shelter. You could even be offered positions there where you get compensation just for standing around and keeping order.
Persuasion.
oh, persuasion?
Yeah. I've already rolled for Jason
15.
meters. I need to roll for her insight. Where is her sheet? Oh, there it is. What is her insight? Yeah. Neater helps a lot in this.
He just exudes an air of...
Officialness.
Yeah?
Bureaucracy.
I could say that.
He exudes red tape. I want pardons for all of my men and myself. Not only for everything we've done, but anything we gotta do in the line of protecting the city.
I'll just kind of look over at Neater.
Well,
I can't really. Blanket pardons are really something. We give them to pirates sometimes if they agreed not to do piracy anymore. It's a common practice, actually, but and that's what
someone had a relationship with the law mage.
that's probably what we'd be able to negotiate with the council members in order to get them pardons for previous crimes. But you're saying that you want pardons for crimes you might commit in the order of protecting the city. What crimes would that be?
Yeah, because I doubt the people of the district will like you as is. Probably want to abuse that.
She just kind of like leans back a bit. I don't really care about that. I'm just saying if there's some collateral damage, because my men aren't really the most careful fighters. We don't want to be put to the sword because someone's Grammy got in the way of us swinging against the army.
That's a weirdly specific example.
Also, we want all the loot from the invaders.
all of it?
Anything
Like,
anything they got on them, if we kill it, we get it.
Oh, you're talking about what you kill.
Well, yeah, we ain't going to be taking other people's stuff. We got some amount of pride.
Well, yeah, probably you could get that, yeah.
Neater's just looking like sweating at this point. I'll tell you what. The pardon for previous things we could probably get you if you're willing to come in as as defenders of the city, but a blanket pardon for potential crimes that we'd need to talk with the council members, and we'd need to have you come with us to do that. At that point, she frowns. You want me to abandon my men, come into the city, and talk bureaucracy, leaving them with no one to keep them in check. At which point, the big guy behind, who's next to her just kind of chimes in. I could lead them. You know I can. No, you can't. He just looks like super dejected at that. And Neither kind of looks back towards you guys. Well, any idea? He's like,
Are you sure you got no other capable second in command? I mean, that guy looks capable. Looks like the goblin Albrich was talking to.
Who's currently rooting through trash?
I mean, if you're just looking for a babysitter, I could do that.
Big guy kind of like shoves Neither to the side and like walks up closer. And he has to look like almost vertically down to look you in the eye.
And I look him straight back in the eye. I look up. I have no problem looking up at him.
Been getting a lot of that.
And I just kind of grin at him.
I haven't no halfling controlling my men.
I'm not a halfling. I'm a dwarf.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
You want to find out?
Wait, what? Kinda.
No weapons, fist to fist, right fucking now, big guy.
Alright, enough of your measuring contest over there. We got actual business to discuss.
No, I kind of like this. How about this? Alright. Let me get this set right. Will y'all beat Hudo and Owen in a one-on-one? I'll go with you.
What'd she say?
She's saying if you beat the giant man in a one-on-one, she called him Hudo, then she'll go with you.
Oh crap! What have I just done to myself? In a one-on-one. In a one-on-one, what?
Are you saying this in character?
No. What I would say is that to the death?
Well, nah. I don't know how strong you really are, and I ain't losing Hodo to a midget.
So you're worried you'll lose this guy, huh? She
I'm
doesn't have much faith in you, I say to the big guy.
He just like scowls at you. Well, to be honest, he ain't that smart.
Alright, we doing a fist fight or what?
You, little fellow, leaves his weapons with you lot. Hudo, give me yours. And he puts this giant club that he's carrying, like this big, this big spiked club that it's like the size of Albrich. And he hands it over to her. And he sort of like cracks his neck. And he looks down at you. Alright. I'll have fun kicking this fellow over the creek.
How's about this? Both of you stand 10 feet apart. I'll count down. On 0, I'll launch a bolt into the sky, and from there, you duke it out to see who wins. Sound fair?
How about this? We have one of my archers launch the projectile in the middle of our camp just so that people don't think you're trying to attack everyone. Some of these lot are jumpy.
Right. Sounds fair.
Alright.
Alright.
And at which point she kind of directs you guys to like go off to the side, at which point you start mingling in with the people.
Hey, how's it going?
I hand Talsim my axe and my so I'm like oh shoot, what's his name? I can't think of his name. I hand Talsim my axe. Then I pull out one knife and hand it to him. Then from another spot I pull out the other knife, and then I pull out my hand axes, and then I pull out my javelins.
you just, all these weapons are just like coming out of like random spots.
Talsim almost fell just with the axe.
You need me to take some of those.
I wouldn't say no.
And then I place my shield down at his feet.
All right.
At Talsum's feet.
The woman who you've yet to get her name saunters off to the side to watch as well, and she kind of just starts leaning on Rowan.
Rowan doesn't say anything. He just ignores it because he doesn't even feel a thing. It's kind of just like a mosquito landing on your shoulder.
And
She's actually surprisingly heavy.
Oh.
Could I help you?
Well, I always like to have a nice viewing companion on a spectacle, and consider my normal one's the middle of this one.
Right.
After I give all my stuff to Talsum, I turn and I grin at the big guy, and I immediately go into a frenzied rage.
Alright, this is just going to be a one-on-one fist fight battle.
Alright, Rowan's just gonna start counting down from 5, and then on 0 he'll blow into a signal whistle.
Alright. The big guy just sort of like sits there and gives you the come at me bro gesture.
Okay. Am I waiting for a sign to start, or
It's already
Is that
been
the
done.
sign?
That was the sign to start.
Oh, okay.
The moment I blew it, it was time to go.
Yep.
Okay. How am I going to do this? I am going to.
Let me see. I can punch. I can kick. Also,
I am going to charge him
Alright.
and try to, I guess, knock his leg out from under him so he falls.
So you're going for the shins.
Sure.
also, does Talsum feel like he can walk around?
What
Everybody here at this point is just looking at the spectacle. They're not like keeping you in anywhere.
Yeah.
What else could Albrich aim for besides the shins?
So it would be an unarmed strike, I believe. The way we're doing this.
Unarmed
Well,
strike
are we
do
are
1
we still
damage plus strength.
are we still 10 feet apart, or have we already?
If
Maybe charge at
you
him.
should be able to move your token.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I would charge, so it'd be kind of a run, and so I want to, I guess, kind of tackle his leg and try to yank it out from him.
That would be a grapple check then, if you're trying to actively grab
Okay.
him and throw him down.
Because I want him to fall.
Ooh, that is a good roll. What does he got? He's got better athletics. Oh my gosh. Even with his modifier, if it meets, it beats, so you actually knocked this giant guy down. He's just like, come on, little oh shit! And he's now prone on his back.
Can a halfling do this?
Yeah. So, so it's a running charge and kind of a shoulder check into his leg, right. I guess in my head it'd be around his knee, so that it buckles his knee and makes him fall. And then I want to try to jump up and pounce on his stomach with my feet.
Rowan's just gonna grin and use prestidigitation to make the sound of a crowd cheering Albrich's name.
These people are just kind of looking around confused. You hear behind you what looks like a wood elf guy. It's like, who the hell is Albrich?
Can Talsum move closer to the leader?
If you want.
Just casually walking.
Yeah, you can if you want. She is like doing that thing where like she has one arm kind of like she's like leaning on Rowan. She's tall, so she has to like actually like reach up a little bit to do this. But she's not like too small. She's human, if I wasn't clear before as well. But she's tall, relatively thin, wearing basically what is akin to a bikini. But yeah, Elwood, I'll let you do that.
Mysteriously heavy.
And mysteriously heavy. Yes. Albrich, I'll let you go ahead with that, and you can roll an unarmed strike.
That would be the unarmed strike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 23.
Oh my gosh, that hits.
Boy.
All right. It is.
Unarmed
So
strikes for untrained people are 1 plus strength.
I know.
Okay. Well, I thought you had like 5 strength. Honestly.
So normally I have 2 attacks. So do I get another attack, or is that my turn at this point?
The grapple would have been your first attack the way you were doing
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So.
So yeah, I jump up and slam down with my feet into his gut, with the goal of trying to get him to upchuck his breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And he just like coughs out. Oh, it's not. He's just like, oh, Fleischsteinatoman. Oh. And he's gonna have disadvantage at this because he is technically prone, but he is going to try and grab at your leg.
Okay.
So that's athletics or acrobatics on your part to counter a grapple.
Okay. 25.
Nice.
Yep. You just step away from it as he tries to reach for you. He then uses his movement to stand up, at which point he tries to just haymaker you in the face. And I'll roll this.
Just come Bobby late.
Does a 18 hit you?
Yep.
And it's just pluses that, then you would take 6 bludgeoning on that.
Halved to 3.
At which point, seeing that he didn't actually do that much.
Is that all you got?
He's going to go into a frenzied rage.
Oh, rage battle.
And that is the end of his turn as he just stands up and screams down at you.
Well, the closest thing to me is his pelvis. So that's what I'm aiming for.
I guess there are no rules.
I did not specify reckless, so I would say it's a 22 and a 9. No, he's standing now.
Oh.
Right, he is standing.
Yeah, he is standing.
Yeah. So it's a 22 and a 9. I forgot I didn't take the advantage off.
22 and a 9. Oh, man, that 20 would have been perfect.
I know.
Oh, it would have been so great.
The greatest testicle shot of all time.
The
You
20
would have ruined that man for life.
The 22 does hit. You hit him kind of like right in the hip. And he kind of stumbles a little bit.
The testicle.
Yeah, and so, because I'm frenzied, I get 3. I forgot to do the third one. Oh.
That will miss.
Yeah.
It will then be his turn.
I'm done for now.
Can Talsim talk to the leader? Just a little
Yes, you can if you want. During all this, you guys can interact with the people around you.
So Talsim tries to look as presentable as possible and not show that he's worried about having 24 people at any point attacking him. Miss, I'm sorry, did I ever get your name? I don't think anyone's mentioned.
Well, it's nice that someone in this group finally gets some courtesy. It's been a long time. I'm Nercy. Nercy-chan.
Niarsi?
I will spell it in the chat for you.
Thank you. I was gonna ask.
Nidrasi.
Niarsi-chan. Niarsi-chan!
You see through my veil.
Oh, I saw it the moment you posted it.
Miss Chan, it's wonderful to meet your acquaintance, and, well, this is truly some top-tier entertainment, watching a dwarf punch a giant in the pelvis.
Oh, he ain't a giant. He's just way too big.
Yeah,
Punch
yeah,
them right
I
in the
understand. Truly top-tier entertainment, but are you sure you want to risk your the safety of yourself and your men on this fight? I mean, I understand you're in a difficult position, but, well, the things you've done, well, under most circumstances would not go well. If I truly believe it would be in your best interest to take the pardon and do your best to make sure you don't get into any more trouble. After all, why would you really want to live the rest of your life or your men as bandits, if not in this country, in some other?
Look, I gotta keep these guys satiated. Do you think these guys would follow me if I didn't give them spectacles like this? And you do understand that if I wouldn't lead these fellas, there'd be a lot more deaths from what they do.
You
I'm the
know,
one-
if you want, we could offer you a better chance. We've got a boat that's under construction at the moment, a man of war, and we're headed out of country to Bolivia. We've got some business there, and we are in need of a crew. If you want, you can join.
At the mention, give me an insight check, Rowan.
All right.
Tell some looking at
Oh!
Oh!
At the
Tell some looking
mention,
at Rowan like, shit, man, really? Cool.
at the mention of a boat, you see almost a tear of nostalgia come out of her eyes, as if she longs to go onto the sea for some reason or another.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
You've invited a usurper to my ship.
You ain't here, Ricky.
You all right there, lass?
She just blinks for a second. She's like, yeah. What kind of boat you said you got?
Man of war.
You lot have a man of war.
Yep.
Well, recent acquirement.
From who?
From the druidic god of the city.
What in the world do they need a man of war for? They can take out ships with their magic.
Well, you see, they kinda didn't need it, so they gave it to us.
I do believe they took it from, well, folks like yourselves, but the seafaring variety.
Y'all have a man of war pirate ship and not even a crew to sail it.
Well, we kinda do. We have a few crew, but the majority of them died on the...
Just come out and tell her we killed them, man. Just come out and tell her.
I said the majority of them died on procurement. I didn't say we killed them.
Well, that's about what happens when you try and mess with the druids. At least I'm smart enough not to do that.
However, another portion of the crew was captured, and the druids told us that they were under our directives. We could do what we want with them, so we're repurposing them to be our crew.
Y'all even know how to run a crew of pirates?
I mean,
I'm willing to learn.
up on it.
How about this? Let's see how this fight goes. Then we'll talk more.
All right.
I just love. We had a crew. They died.
All
I
right.
didn't say we killed them. I said they died.
I know. I'm saying you should just tell her we killed them. It might scare her into believing us. All right.
Oh my gosh.
What am I gonna take?
That the survivors are enslaved.
All right, back to the discombobulating.
Oh.
Having this conversation with screams and agony in the background.
So he has this thing called menacing. And he's going to tower over you and scream at you again as he attacks, which gives him the chance to intimidate you. So I need a wisdom insight check from you on
He's high
that.
level.
You kind of broke up there in describing that. Can you describe it again, please?
He has this feature called menacing that you can replace one of his attacks with. So I need, it was some insight from you, and I'll roll his intimidation.
And can I have a DM's inspiration from the last time we played. Can I use that to add to my roll here?
Yeah, you can use that to replace your roll.
Just re-roll it, mean?
Yeah,
or
yeah, it
I
just
was
lets
going to
it-
add to the roll. Okay.
Inspiration lets you re-roll any d20.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about that. Nice.
Ooh, that does it. You pass.
So, you read my backstory, right?
It's been a bit,
Um,
but I did.
so, tactics like that are more likely to make me rage further.
Go beyond.
So
Go beyond the rage into pure fury.
I would just look at whatever he does, and I would just say, "What? You think you can scare me?" And yeah.
At which point he gets his attacks. Ooh. A 15 and a 14.
Both will hit.
Ooh. 12 bludgeoning then.
So 6.
Yeah. What is that?
All right. How am I gonna do this?
I think normally in these types of fist fights, like the health of those participating is like greatly reduced. Otherwise, this might take a good while.
Yeah, I
Especially-
was thinking that. I was thinking of that too. Well, why don't we say half health and then you're knocked down, not out but down?
Okay. So when I reach half health,
When you reach half health, then you are
Okay.
down.
gotcha. I want to. I want to try to leap up and use his quads as
You're trying to attack on Titan this guy.
I want to. So ultimately, I want to try to grab his neck. So I want to jump up and try to use some part of his body to bounce up higher, or push off, and try to grab around his neck and try to grapple him that way.
You're gonna chokehold him.
So
I want to try a chokehold. So
that would be in acrobatics and then a grapple check
okay.
to jump off a person onto him. All right.
I get advantage on the athletics.
Kicking
Hero.
with the quad.
Hero. Oh, you're old crap. You actually do it.
Yeah. Tiny guy taking around chokeholding a gigantic guy.
So I just want to. If I've got it around his neck, I just want to squeeze, and I'm just gonna hold and squeeze until I don't know until he goes unconscious.
Let's say if you can hold the grapple for 3 rounds, then he'll pass out.
Okay.
Oh, please let this work.
Until whatever usually happens happens.
Because I don't think there's a thing for choking out a motherfucker.
No, there's not.
If you can hold on to a chokehold for long enough, then yeah. Okay.
I like to imagine that Styx is just shouting advice during this, like fighting advice.
So, at this point, it would be his turn. And he'll get 2 attempts to try and break out. So,
Okay.
I need athletics, 2 counter athletics from you. Oh my. You know, he just rolled absolutely terrible, so he's still grappled. For the 13-year-old, he rolled a 10. For the 18-year-old, he rolled a 16. So it's close, but not enough.
All right. So I want to brace my feet against his back, or if I have to, my knees. Probably my knees, because I don't think my arms will be long enough. But use that as a brace to continue pulling back, and try to make that chokehold tighter.
That's it! Make him sleep! Make him sleep!
Give me another athletics check.
18 again.
Ooh, nat 20 on his end. He starts wiggling you around to the point where you start losing hold of the chokehold. At which point you're no longer chokeholding him. You're more so kind of like holding on to his collar now.
Okay. Am I still behind him, or am I in front of him?
You're still
or on
behind
the
him.
side?
You're holding onto the back collar of his shirt now.
Okay.
I have a
Hit him over
question.
the head!
What is that, Bishop?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Talsum has Hex, but would he know if that's a visual thing that others would be able to tell that like something magical is happening if he were to use it?
Does it have the visual properties to it? Oh yeah, it has all of the properties to it. I mean, you've seen Ricky and Rowan both use counterspell, so you know that that's a possibility that can happen, especially since the guy right behind Rowan looks like he's a caster because he's holding. He's got a staff and all that.
I mean, I'm also hoping that Talsum can maybe take a few steps back, and if all the others are like looking at the fight, he would cast it from the back.
Give me a stealth check at advantage because they are distracted to see if you can do it.
My question was, if like he's used it before on other people, is there any visual indication that they're under an effect?
It doesn't say that there's any visual thing, so I wouldn't say.
It's more of a you think.
No, curse and hex and things like that, where it's like an internal thing. I see that as like an internal, like hurting them from the inside thing.
Well, it's components are verbal, somatic, and material, so he can't really do this very subtly. It requires hand gestures, saying something, and using something. Yeah, so like he can't cast this stealthily when he's being surrounded by a group of people, including a caster.
I mean, but are they I don't think they're actively surrounding me. We're looking at the fight. That's
yeah,
what I'm hoping.
That's why I'm saying, like, if you want to try and go off and do this stealthily, nobody's paying attention to you. So you could just roll like a stealth check, not to do the spell, but to like get away from people without them noticing you trying to like walk off. Plus, no one ever said you couldn't use magic.
Tassim just says, I'm gonna take a piss. That's an 11.
Ooh.
2.
You
let
said
me-
it advantage, so it's 13.
Yeah, let me roll for the genericos. Ooh. This one guy kind of like walks up. He's like, "Hey, where are you going?"
Which one?
This guy down here.
Oh, way down there, okay. Oh, I didn't even see him. Whoops.
You're good.
Yeah, okay, seeing he's like right there, still looking at us, I'm just turn around. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, Rowan, she's still kind of like leaning on you, like kind of like weirdly intimately, just like leaning on you for the whole whole thing. She's like, "Wow, your little guy got some spunk, doesn't he?"
Yeah.
Is it my turn or his turn now?
I believe it says.
I believe it's his, yes, because you were trying to brace yourself last time. Although that was only
Yeah.
that was only like a bonus action thing if you wanted to like try and
Hit
actually
him
attack
over the
him.
head.
You still have both
Okay.
attacks because that was just like a bonus action. I'm gonna try and brace myself thing.
All right. Then I want to kind of slide around him so that I'm at his front. Take my legs around his neck, and then I want to headbutt him twice.
Getting your legs around his neck is going to be yet another grapple, and then you can still do a headbutt
Oh.
as an unarmed attack.
Okay. I can try that. So 16.
He just moves his shoulders and whips you off of him at this point, and you kind of like fall down in front of him.
All right. To the nuts again.
Oh, that will hit.
When in doubt.
So 4. So do I only get the one attack this time then? Because of all that?
Yeah, the grapple was your other attack.
Okay.
He's going to run up to you, and you're still on the
Can he
ground.
run right now?
I'm standing though, right? I'm standing.
Right.
Okay.
Let's bring him up here. Darn it. He's just going to swing it, you know. An 11 and a 13. Wow.
Both of those miss.
He whips over your head. He's clearly not used to fighting someone so small.
With that second whiff, can I get a grab of his arm and pull up on it and use my feet and kick him in the side?
Grappled
So
and
I wanna-
unarmed. Yeah.
Okay. 23.
Ooh. Nope, he rolled a 12. So yeah, you can grab onto his arm. You're holding onto his arm now, and that definitely hits.
Do I get one hit with it or two?
Grapple will at least count as one of your attacks.
Okay, so with my frenzied, I can use my bonus action to make a third attack.
Yeah, if you want.
That would be a 16 in that case.
What is his AC? That hits.
All right, so another 8. Well, 4, I guess, if he's.
Alright.
And I did grab a hold of his arm, so I'm hanging on his arm right now.
Yep. He's going to essentially try to counter the grapple by like trying to like shake you off his arm.
Okay.
So another athletics check.
23.
All right, you hold on firm. At which point, with the other arm, he's just going to try and hit you. Ooh, 17 and a 14.
They'll both hit.
All right, that's another 12 bludgeoning before reductions.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm hanging on to his arm. I am going to. Yeah, just 3 kicks in the stomach.
All right.
14,
Nice.
15, and 21.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't call him reckless.
Oh,
Uh,
darn.
I feel
I
like he's
know.
gonna hit you anyway, so you probably.
the 15, 18, and 21 hit.
Okay. The 18 was an athletics check, so that.
Oh,
doesn't-
wait,
so,
yeah, the 15 and 21 hit then.
So, well, 8.
Yeah.
Ignore the.
He's doubled over at this point, considering, because, yeah, I had to have his health for that. Yeah, he's doubling over. He's probably looking about the same way you are, honestly.
If I'm able to, if he's doubled over at this point, if I'm able to, I'd like to try to, with any movement I have left, try to get onto his back. Not necessarily try to get a chokehold on him again, but get on his back and kind of like piggyback style.
Yeah, give me a small acrobatics check to do that without falling off. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. At which
Away from
point,
the nat 20.
you're on his back, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, on his back with my arms kind of over his shoulders, loosely around his neck. I guess it would be not in a chokehold fashion, but just kind of hanging on to him, hanging out with my one hand on my wrist, grabbing a hold of my wrist so that it's kind of locked in place.
He's gonna T-pose. He's gonna T-pose and fall backwards.
Okay.
T-pose for dominance.
How high are we?
You are not high enough to take fall damage, but you will take bludgeoning damage, and I'll count this as an unarmed strike from him. But
Okay.
I want you to give me another athletics check to hold on without getting the wind back
I
out
have
of you.
advantage on that one. 17.
All right, yeah, you hold on as he falls on his back on top of you. So you're now crushed underneath him, and you're gonna take another 6 before reduction bludgeoning before he kind of rolls over, thinking that that would have been enough to get you off of him.
Okay.
DM, I just realized that I forgot to roll hit dice during the short rest earlier. Is it alright if I do that now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
This fight is invigorating you.
It's the sweet nothings that the woman is whispering into his ear.
Okay.
Well, then she really healed me up. Jeez.
Can I, since he's on the ground and he's on top of me, chokehold again?
Yeah.
14.
No. He just like shakes you from being able to do that because he's now wise to your tactic.
All right. Then since he's lying on top of me,
Stomp him in the nuts.
well, he's on top of me, so I can't. But do I still have? I still have two hits left, right?
Yeah,
With that.
technically.
All right. So I'm just gonna try to punch him in the side of the head.
Roll.
Those are at advantage because he's prone, right? I don't know if that's
Technically,
either way.
yes, but all of those would miss either way.
Yeah. All right.
And on his turn, he's gonna get up. You don't have to roll anything because you're still holding on after all of that.
Yep.
And he's gonna try and reach back and grab you off. So just another counter athletics check. There's so many of these.
Oh yeah.
He tries to reach back and grab you, but you just sort of like kick his arm away from him, and He has no way to punch you now, and just crushing you didn't work. So at this point he's just trying to like whip you off, but he's not really doing anything. And it goes back to you.
Whoa!
I'm just gonna reach around and punch him 3 times in the side of the head.
Go for it.
I am going to do these 3 reckless.
All right.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Oh!
All right. So
That is
finally, now that you have a net 20 that counts, I can activate the thing I had for fist fighting Odo.
Uh-oh.
So with the nat 1, you actually let go, but as you're falling, you get the strikes in on him as you're falling. So you don't hit him in the head, but with the net 20, you actually hit him in the back of the knee, and you pop out his knee.
Ooh.
At which point
I'm
he
just gonna
screams and buckles over. You will take 2 points of bludgeoning damage from falling off of his back, but you know.
I'm gonna press digitation to make a crowd cheering.
You do the crowd cheering while all the rest of the crowd,
Also
except for
just a
you
snake.
guys, is just sitting there slack-jawed like, oh shit. He screams out in pain and buckles over, at which point he taps out.
I'm going to. I'm actually going to grab him in the chokehold again.
After he's tapped out?
Yep, and I'm gonna look at the lady. I'm in a frenzy rage, and like I said, if you intimidate me, I'm gonna get even angrier. So
Go ahead. Play character.
So I'm gonna chokehold him again, and I'm gonna look at her like. I mean, I have enough sense to know that, you know, there's something else going on here, but I'm totally out for blood at this point, because he basically tried to make me look like a coward in front of everyone, and I won't stand for that. So, do I need to make another athletics check?
Not really, because he's doubled
Okay.
over from pain.
That's
holding
kind of what
onto
I
his
figured.
knee.
But I've got him. So I've got him, and I lifted up his head, and I'm looking at her, trying to get her to do something that will calm me down.
She just kind of
I'm
looks.
just
She just kind of looks behind Rowan and kind of like nods at the guy behind her, and then he casts a spell which makes you need to do a Wisdom save,
Oh,
Albrich.
yeah, that's not gonna work. Wisdom save.
Yes.
It's not any kind of charm effect, is it?
I don't think so. Hold person isn't a charm effect, is it?
Okay.
Oh,
No.
No. I
it's
don't
not.
think so.
All right. So
you
wisdom.
are charmed into paralyzing yourself.
Wisdom save, yeah.
Yeah, wisdom save. I don't have advantage on that.
No. You look over menacingly, probably about to snap this. Yeah, it's probably about to twist this guy's neck when suddenly you just can't move.
Alright, that's enough. Fight's over.
And I'll look over to. Hang on, I already forgot her name.
Nearcy.
Yeah, I'll look
Nearcy.
over to Nearcy and say,
Alright, we won. What's the deal?
In the middle of this, people are just rolling up and like peeling. They're like peeling Albrich off of the guy, getting him over into another tent to try and fix his knee, and then they just sort of like hand Albrich to Styx, who's just like, And this entire time, the guy is holding concentration on whole person. It's only up to a minute, so essentially enough time for them to get him into the tent. At which point, Styx puts you down, and you are no longer held, Albrich.
Yeah, I would stop raging after 6 seconds. So,
Right.
and I am now 1 level of exhaustion.
A lot of these people, at this point, we can just go back to the map. Because I don't want to be moving these guys about like 1,000 times.
alright, I got her in my notes, so I'm good now.
So at this point, the people around are getting back to their tents, getting back to the work of the camp, and you hear some screaming as they try to fix the guy's knee in the tent. And what did you say again, Rowan?
Alright, we won. What's the deal now?
Deal is, I'll go with you lot to get this all figured out with the council. And if y'all really do have that boat, I might have some use for these men after this invasion. So we ain't sticking around here, that's for sure.
Wait, you're not giving them our boat, are you?
No, they're gonna be crew.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you were kind of busy when we talked about that.
You are a scrappy little fella. And she kind of like boops you on the nose, Albrich.
I just grin at her and slap her on the rear end. I'll make you. You're not too bad yourself.
I got a little something now.
Gotta love it when a DM says, I gotta roll for something now.
Everyone's got a past. Oh, you got.
Hey, you trigger my buttons, I trigger yours. That's how we play.
Boop the snoot. Smash the ass!
I mean, it wasn't like a hurtful. It was, I don't know what the right word is. Flirtatious?
Playful?
Playful. That's a good word, yeah.
Yeah, give me another wisdom save.
I tripled my last
Alright.
one.
Better.
1 sec. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. She smacks you upside the head so hard that you are now afraid of her. She
No.
She has a feature called nope, wrong thing.
Flirtatious fury?
Called menacing attack. It is frightened until the end of your next turn. So for a good solid 12 seconds, you are deathly frightened of her after she smacks you upside the head. You're not going to take any damage because she wasn't trying to hurt you, but
He just starts running away. Ah!
I'm good.
No, I don't. See, that's the problem.
it is
That turns me to rage. So, oh shit. I go into a rage. And I say, I was just trying to return the playful tit for tat. You want to start another fight?
I'm just gonna step between her and him and be like,
Alright, bud, calm down.
You hear the sound. You hear the sound of 50 plus weapons being drawn around you.
yeah, I'm like between him and her, like spacing them out.
Alright, bud, it's okay. It was just a little playful banter. We don't need to get ourselves killed now. We got all of the agreements done. You fought for the day. You need some rest, alright, bud?
Has that been 6 seconds?
Yeah.
All right, my rage drops.
Oh my gosh, you have 2 now.
well,
No, I didn't go into a frenzy rage, just a regular rage.
Oh, right. Okay, right. Frenzy is what does it. Okay.
Yeah. As I gain control of myself, I look at her and I say, "Ma'am, I apologize. I thought we were hitting off a kind of a relationship there, and apparently I took it a little bit too far.
She
I'll
again
stay out of your way."
She again sort of like walks over and kind of leans on Rowan's shoulder. I prefer tall men.
Oh.
I noticed.
Rowan's just gonna kind of like have that affirmative look of, oh.
I am going to go and pick up all of my weapons and put them back, and stay as far back from her as I can for the time being, and still be amongst the group. And yeah.
Right, we should probably be heading back to the city, though. Things are getting dark.
Yeah, and she kind of looks towards the caster who was behind you guys. You're in charge for Arch till he gets his knee fixed up, and then let him know I'm going to be in the city. And then he just nods, kind of like she's kind of addressed to everybody. If I ain't back in a day or so, then just raise the place down. You see a lot of grins from everybody around you as she's like, well, show the way.
When she says raise the place around you, is she referring to the city?
You don't know.
I still don't know. Okay.
Rowan will not question it. He just starts heading back to the city.
And we will zoom on forward, where by the time everybody is back, it's probably going to be close to midnight. Because the whole fight, the whole trek back, the whole trying to get this person who is obviously a bandit through the doors, which, Rowan, you finally don't have to have someone stare at your papers for your 5 minutes.
The vein is about to bulge when I'm approaching, but then... Sweet release.
Of course, now they have to do that for her.
Welcome to my world.
And, surprisingly, Jace produces a card.
What?
It's not that surprising. He was stealing yours by targeting you.
Yeah, if you want to give me a quick perception check to see the name on the card, you can.
You said perception?
Yeah. Anyone there really can if they want to.
Ah.
Nope. Can't quite see it. Still can't quite see it. That net 20 would have been nice though. Yeah, you guys don't know what name is on his card, but he somehow produces a card to get in, even though he's constantly talking about how these people can't get in and out.
It's Senor Jace.
But everybody's able to get in, and eventually you guys get into the city, at which point they kind of talk about how they're basically like, they say that you can go with them to the Citadel to meet with the council if you want, or you guys can go and get some sleep, and they'll get you the next day. It is, at this point, the next day, because by the time you guys get close enough to the inn, it's almost, it's midnight, so. Or it's almost 1 o'clock, so technically it is the next day, but you know what I mean.
I'll just ask the, two representatives, because I'm having trouble remembering names right now, if either of them will need any help at all.
Jace very calmly says, "Nah, don't worry. I got enough people watching me that we should be good."
Alright, I'm headed to bed then.
And I immediately head over to the inn.
Styx is going with you. He is tired.
I just say to Nirsi, Miss, I don't think I ever got your name, but if you get into trouble while you're here in town, you just ask for Albrich at the forge, and I'll come and help you out. Good night.
Have fun, you lot. And she kind of like is sauntering towards the Citadel as if she owns the place.
So she's going with Jason Nieder?
Yep, they're escorting her to the Citadel to get the pardons.
Well, okay then. This is quite the day. Thankfully, not my problem anymore. Head back to the inn.
Yep. And unless you guys want to do anything specific, we can start up on the next day.
I'm good.
I would stop at the bar, drop a couple silver, and pour myself 2 ales, and take them to my room.
True dwarven dinner.
Did Taliesin ever give Albrich his weapons back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked them up.
They
Okay.
would have been on the ground.
All right. The party is all in one place the next morning.
Hooray!
Plus, I would have been a little bit hoping Albrich was up for a few drinks together at the bar, but I guess he just goes.
Oh, if you had said something, I would have. Yeah, I'd stop and drink them with you.
Yeah, just like congratulations on that was quite the fight.
Yeah, that was a good one. I haven't had a good one like that in a while. I was a pretty good guy. Wish I'd gotten his name though. We could use him later, I think.
I think she said it, didn't she?
She said his name was Hudo.
Buddha, yeah. I was getting ready to rage, so I wasn't totally paying attention. So
Oh, I think I heard her say it was Hudo something. Don't know where it's from.
oh, that was his name. I thought that. I don't know what I thought. Okay.
Hudo.
Yeah. Well.
Who knows?
Say, I'm curious. Are you like? What? Where does your magic come from? Are you a wizard, or what? I've been seeing you do some magic stuff, but you don't do it quite like the way Ricky does. So, yeah.
Also,
curious.
if Ricky got in a long rest, he would be in the bar at the inn.
This is still the middle of the night, so I think you're still sleeping. But,
You'd still be in the middle of sleep, Ricky.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm not exactly much of a book learning type. I mean, I tried for a bit, didn't really pan out.
yeah, me either.
I mean, looks a little bit not too comfortable with the conversation. Well, basically, the short end is it's not really mine per se. And he summons his bow. It mainly comes from this thing. Quite nifty.
Yeah. So if you ever lost it, you'd be out of magic.
Well, and he also makes it disappear again, I guess, but it'd be kind of hard.
Oh. That's impressive. Well, all right, that's cool. I just was curious. I don't know much about magic at all, and so I've only seen Ricky really do it, and I was curious how yours worked.
No, I get it. And I kind of don't really like the fact that it's not really mine. Like I just saw the opportunity to have it and head out into the world by myself, and I took it.
That's fair. I mean, sure, why not?
And I keep thinking maybe I should practice combat skills of my own. But every time I think of that, I just go paint something or whatever. Play my guitar. Sorry.
I didn't know you played the guitar. I remember seeing that painting in your room. That was pretty impressive.
Not guitar, I meant lute. Oops.
Well, okay. I don't know if I've ever seen you play the lute either.
Well,
but hey,
I kind of tried, but looks at the stage at the bar. They wouldn't really let me.
oh well, if you need any help with that, I can talk with a guy.
No, it's not a big deal.
Oh,
I also
all right.
enjoy cooking. You tried some of it. I think you liked it. Guess you said you did.
Well, yeah, it didn't come back up, so Well, hey, but seriously though, if you need some help with fighting, I mean, I can help a little bit. Give you some moves, and I kind of do a jib and a jab, kind of sideways at the bar, pretending like I'm gonna swing at him.
That's all really good, really. But well, I've actually had some training, martially speaking. It's just not my style.
That's fair. Sometimes it's probably better if you stick to the back and hit him from a distance. Do more damage that way sometimes.
When it comes to it, sure, has to be done.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would have to hit that leader guy in the back and drag him into the hole.
yeah, well, that would look probably a little bit awkward carrying him down the street over your shoulder or something. Yeah, that's true.
Would have got like a potato bag or something.
Yeah. Well, that fight took a lot out of me, a lot more than it looks, so I probably ought to get a little bit more rest.
Understood, it'll be a busy few days.
Yeah, we got lots of work to do. Thanks for having my back out there.
Anytime. Not leaving this country without you, apparently.
Not if I can help it. And I slap him on the shoulder and hop off the bar stool and
Probably a bit harder than you meant.
probably head up to my room.
All right. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to do, we're going to fast forward to the next day. And at this point, Ricky is showing off the improvements that he's made the day everybody was doing, and everybody was off in the refugee area.
Ron just goes over and grabs
Or as
coffee.
he says, doing their nonsense.
Right. Yes, Ricky, you would have been informed about everything that had gone on as well, so you would be up to speed with all the stuff that happened, and I'm sure would have had quite a few things to say about what went on. But at this,
Ron's too tired to deal with this and just drinking from coffee. A lot of coffee.
but at this point, Ricky is showing off the fact that while you guys were gone, he essentially finished the mechs with Esther.
Wow, that's
There.
impressive.
They are combat ready to go.
They look like a Dark Knight Dreadnought, and
Have you tested them out yet? And I get kind of a glint in my eye as I'm asking this to Esther.
Esther kind of does. I've been driving them around myself. It's quite fun.
Yeah, I believe it. I wonder, do you think we got enough resources we could, like, add to the number and make the war chief be really impressed?
I don't know about that. I was told that we had some people coming over to inspect them today.
Oh, is it today already? Well, I
Hey.
must have got hit a lot harder in the head than I thought.
I don't know if you heard, but we got information yesterday that the invasion might be coming tomorrow. So we need to inspect them today.
Yeah, we heard some sort of story about that. Whatever.
Well, the people
Ron
should
would
be.
all right.
just kind of be like,
Can I get in one of the mechs?
Unfortunately, Sam, it's not really built for one of your size. More along the lines of me, Albrich, and Rockablin, or something along those lines.
Here,
Rowan has the look of a-
Rowan, hold out your legs, and I'll pull out my axe. Do hand it over my head.
Ron has the look of a kid who just told he needs. He has the look of a kid who looks like he just. Hang on, I'm having a stroke over here. He looks like a kid who was just told he needs to be older to do something.
You need to be younger to ride this ride.
You need to be this tall.
We can fix this easy, Rowan. Come here, Rowan, hold out your legs. And I got my axe over my head, 2 hands.
In the middle of this whole debacle, you guys hear some knocking on the shop door.
Ricky just turns to look at the gnome. Esther's like, this is why we got so much done.
We didn't have this going on. Esther is a dwarf as well.
Oh.
Although you have had a gnome helping you out. Chet has come
Do we
in
see-
every now and then to help.
Do I see Ferris anywhere?
Ferris has systematically come in late, so he is not yet in the shop.
I pointedly ask Esther, was Ferris useful at all, or do I need to take care of him?
He did stabilize quite a bit of the metal materials that made it so that we were able to create the charge packs without them exploding from the pressure. So, yes.
And nothing's missing, right?
Nothing I haven't found out yet.
All right.
But I'll take an inventory once this whole thing is done.
You let me know.
At which point, he starts walking over to let the people in. And unless you guys are going with him as he opens the door, I don't know if you guys would or not.
Yeah, Ricky's going with him.
I'm continuing to kind of look over the mech and see. I'm actually contemplating whether or not I should climb in one and sit in it and see how it feels.
Yeah. The whole squad is ready.
Yep. Oh, I know. I get
it. You guys have 5 mechs that are combat ready and currently loaded with ammo as well. They have what is essentially a Maxim gun on one arm, and the other one is a massive fuck-off broadsword. For those For those who don't know what a Maxim gun is, it is a Civil War era Gatling cannon.
Huh.
Oh, did you guys pick up your orders from the innkeeper?
I mean,
would the innkeeper have told us that we had them?
When you guys walked in, he would have said, "Your friend left some mail."
I missed that voice.
Then yeah, we would have picked it all up, or at least I would have. I assume the rest of us would.
Tulsa picks up the ring. He proposed.
Dawson and Albrich both receive a ring. Albrich probably thinking that he could have used it earlier.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you can go ahead and post that in the Discord for him. But Ricky and Chet did some stuff while you guys were gone.
Wow, Ricky. Cool. You've been super busy. I'm surprised you're still standing on your feet.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel pretty exhausted looking at the mech suits.
Rowan will lean over to Telsum and be like, "You think I should check in with the council matters and all that with the scavengers?"
I figure we'd all go check on it at some point.
They said that.
Wait, what scavengers?
The raiders, you mean?
Yeah, raiders.
Check in on how that went. Yeah. So as you're saying this, and Ricky and Esther, you are going up to the door, you said, with them, right?
Yeah.
You open the door, and you see a familiar goblin.
Which one?
I was hoping for Elf Dad.
You open the door, and flanked by 2 Goliath soldiers in full armor is Rorik, the old man from the village.
Hey!
He is in full military gear, but the biggest thing you notice is that he is missing a leg. At which point Esther salutes to him and says, "My apologies, General. I didn't realize you'd be the one coming here."
I shout across the room, "Were you the general that just came in from the battle yesterday?"
I see that he's still here, huh?
So, Rorik, are you going to be getting one of these mech suits?
As he kind of uses the crutch to walk through. That was the idea.
Oh, I think you'll like it.
I was going to give them to my subordinates at first, but I kind of need one now.
Well, you can't lead from the front if you can't fight from the front.
Well, I'm an artillery commander, so with general. No, it's weird.
Oh,
As he's
come
just-
on, Rorik. We both know that you're the type to fight on the front even if you're not supposed to.
He just sort of like waves you off.
Too brave.
There's too much politics and red tape with it being in this level of command. Who knows? And he kind of just walks in to inspect the stuff. And he's looking over, and he seems fairly impressed. I didn't think a lot of you would be producing weapons for me in this position when I first met you. In fact, I was going to kill you when I first saw you.
Rowan just kind of goes, oh.
Understandable.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Elf Dad doesn't expect me to appear for dinner, but I'm still going to do that tonight.
He just looks super confused at you because he has no context for that.
Oh, the law
Albrich
mage
is kind of
my elf
confused
dad.
too. When did you get married?
I didn't. It's more of an unofficial adoption, really. We've all but put it in writing.
He just has the weirdest look for this entire thing. He's like,
It's probably
Okay.
mirrored on Albrich's face too, because
how do I get in this thing? As he's like trying to like lift himself up onto one of them. And,
I'll help him into it.
Yeah, and Esther comes on the other side and kind of helps him in it. Thankfully, these are the mechs are designed to be controlled entirely by the hand controls, so the foot rest areas actually don't do anything but stabilize you. So Rorik is actually able to pilot one of these without one of his legs.
Can I
And
climb into one?
yeah, you can climb into one if you want.
I do.
Mech duel! Mech duel!
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to break him.
Ricky bonks Rowan as soon as he says mech duel with his staff. Like,
Oh, Rowan didn't
no,
say that. That was just
no.
me.
I
So-
worked too hard to get these ready.
So Esther kind of goes through the instructions of it, and to make sure that he doesn't hurt himself, he has you, Albrich, do all the stuff first to kind of like show him visually what he's saying, and eventually Rorik gets to the point where he's able to walk around with it, and you see a smile on the old man as he's like he thought that he wasn't ever going to move around on his own without a crutch again. And at this point, you guys start hearing sirens and bells tolling.
Rowan would immediately run outside, warhammer in hand.
To the Citadel.
And that's where we end.
Oh. No. That's just lunch being dispensed, right?
Ale time!
No. But that's where we're going to end for tonight so that I can set up everything for the next session.
I finally have my ID!
I wasn't expecting Albrich to start this off in the mech, but yeah.
Albrich has been itching to get back into one since he was in the first one. He so wants to go and smash
Do
the
we
enemy.
know how long the power cores last?
Half
Yes.
an hour, and
Yep.
they have
Oh,
a
wow.
quick reload function.
Albrich
Nice.
doesn't care, even if he gets 5 minutes again. He wants to go out and smash some enemies with it.
There is also like steps essentially cut into the backs of the armor so that a trained crew can quickly reload the cores for the operators during combat.
And one of the reasons why Ricky is so exhausted is because he spent several hours just showing several groups of gnomes and dwarves how to do so.
So
So-
we essentially have a racing pit crew.
Pretty much. But we'll leave the archive off there, and
I mean, you
we'll
also
jump
needed
in
a
next
crew
time
to
we
reload
can.
the damn things.
thanks to the one or two people who were watching during this. Everybody have a good, happy 2021. And we'll see you next time.